Hey, it's the Kid LY, and this is the long-awaited, I guess, part two to the number 5 vlog. I guess to follow up on George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. Um, been a minute, just been very busy. Work, home life, trying to get certain things off the ground. But basically, I don't even know if I got that much to say. I mean, like, it's not like supposed to be set up in any sort of fashion to vlog. I'm just putting on my thoughts. I don't know what's next. We voted. Supposedly, we're getting Trump out of here. Trump's not the root of the problem. We've been protesting these gun violence shootings since the 90s, since Bush, since Obama. It's more prevalent now, probably with social media and everything, of course, because now we have social media and everything, happens in an instant. So if something happens in Georgia, you're getting it in New York, in less than 2 seconds, and vice versa. And it, I don't know, it's a crazy situation, to be honest. But I mean, I just don't know where we go from here. Like, I know people feel like, hey, we voted out Trump, he's gone, or he's gonna be gone, because now it looks like the brother's trying to pull a coup, on the government. Like he's blaming Biden for cheating the election, but he's actually looking like he's cheating the election himself. And that shit is funny to me, son. Like, it is so funny. But it is what it is. I mean, his supporters will believe that he was cheated, so he's doing everything in his power to, I guess, stay in power and, expose the fraud. And on the other hand, it just looks like, no, you lost. Not something. You lost the election, and now you're using everything in your political power and your power as president to intimidate people, intimidate other governors and representatives, so they can give you the election. And then you can come out and say, like, oh, well, see, I told you they were cheating and I found the truth. And it's like, no, you went ahead and you cheated yourself so you could win the election. But anyway, like I said, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. I know I had a lot to say the last time I put that video up. And I mean, it's, Breonna Taylor, the cops got off, basically. I mean, one got the conviction of the Eaton, I forgot what the law is, Eaton law, whatever, wonton law, whatever. I don't know. Sounds like an Asian dish. You know what I'm saying, or the wonton to Applebee's or something. But yeah, that law where he shot into the neighbor's home. So like, you got in trouble because you almost killed the neighbor, but the woman you actually killed in cold blood because you guys claim you knocked when they're telling you that you did not knock, and you had a no-knock warrant. So you didn't knock because you didn't even need the right to knock, because you had a no-knock warrant, and you killed this woman, and you guys don't go to jail. And that is crazy. You're giving the license to officers to commit murder, and just because they don't come out over blatantly like racist or prejudice, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's a mistake, you're giving these guys the license to basically overstep their bounds of law. Like, so if I make a mistake as an officer, I'm not gonna try to get into race about it at this particular moment of what I'm saying, but I don't know, as a black officer, if I have that same leeway. I would call it leeway, yeah, right? It's called leeway. I don't know if I'd have that same leeway, but what I would say is, officers, regardless of color or creed, you're in a position where when things happen like this, they have a leeway to get out of it when they're in the wrong. So even if you made a mistake, it's like you either got to own up for your mistake or pay for your mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And some things aren't mistakes. It's that you're just abusing your power. It's like, hey, we got this no-knock warrant. We're going to go in here. We're going to do this. Kenneth, for anybody with ears, do your research. Her boyfriend, Kenneth, was not a drug dealer. The ex-boyfriend was a drug dealer. Was she associated with him in any type of way? Who knows? And maybe not. But still, you didn't do your due diligence as officers to know that those weren't the occupants in the home. You were taking a chance to hope that you found something in the home. And you killed this young lady. Even when the shots rang out, when did these guys ever say, hey, it's the police? Even after the dude gets shot in the leg, the officer, that's not a death shot. That's not a kill shot. He didn't get shot in the head, and then now you guys are like, oh, these dudes are shooting to kill. No, he got shot in the leg. And I'm not gonna, I ain't been shot and shit, but you know what I'm saying, like, but I'm not gonna be just straight up say toughen up. But that is no license to kill. Like, you get shot, you scream out, your partner grabs you, somebody else yell like, this is the police. Put your guns down so they know there's more of you than there is of them, because it was only Kenneth. Before you start to return fire. To me, that shows that they didn't have value for life in the first place. Like, they were going to kill regardless. They probably wanted the firefight. So, I mean, I don't know. It's crazy that she had to lose her life and then there was no justice for her family in that way. And then, like, these politicians feeling like, what, you can give settlements and money to, like, aid in the grief. So now somebody's death unjustly becomes a payday. Yeah, her family, of course, could probably use the money, but that doesn't replace Breonna's life. Just like in the George Floyd case. And the Chauvin dude, even though he went to jail, I still feel they need to investigate the whole him and Floyd working at that nightclub together. For me, that's always going to be iffy, because I feel something went down there between the two of those men, and he abused his power as an officer to settle some type of score or vendetta against that man. It's not just coincidental that he got the call that day and all that stuff. And still, as we found out, the 20 was not even the issue. But it is what it is, right? But I just wanted to follow up on that. I might do a video about the election. I really want to get into some stuff about, music, potentially new music. But yeah, like Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, like, stuff is crazy, and it's not gonna change with Biden. Like, I'll tell you that right now. Like, people voted. I voted. I mean, times passed, and of course, yes, I went for Mr. Joe Biden in the election. But like, not for change. You do want that decency back in the White House. Like, I was always for that real raw president. I didn't think Obama was him. Like, I didn't want Obama up there acting belligerent and like, yo, sonning and like, yo, we on the block type shit either. But if he was, I would have wanted him out too. I realized presidents need decorum. Whatever schools and ways of upbringing they're brought up, once they reach a certain level to people grooming them to be president or be elected officials, you need that. You need people like that in those lanes. You need that. You can't have regular Joe Schmo, which Trump tries to act like or is, and he just ends up having money. You can't have regular Joe Schmo running your government. I know people talk about the establishment and stuff like that. You need an established guy who maybe might not be of the establishment as far as like just going with the status quo and going into senseless wars or whatever the case may be. But you need somebody established. You need somebody groomed that has the decorum to be in that office. Me personally, I feel Obama was that established dude. I didn't give him credit for a lot of things, but looking back at some things he was trying to do that he couldn't get done, especially the stuff that we say he didn't do for black people, like, to be honest, mostly it was Republican opposition. Like, not even to segue it to make it feel like, oh, let's give him a leg up or let's give him some leeway. It was a lot of Republican opposition. Like, all these things like the police reform. Even if there's new laws that were brought in, some of that stuff was introduced when Obama was in office, and he tried to get it passed, and they shot it down. And now that Trump came in, they're passing shit left and right to make it look like he was the savior of black people, which he wasn't. Like, you gave some money to HBCUs, not all black people go to HBCUs. I ain't go to no HBCU. Like, there's a lot of things there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of things you're doing and you say you do for the black community, it's not done on a whole. It's not done on a whole. You can't say you're doing stuff for people and it doesn't affect all those people, because we're not a monolith. We are individuals, and that's why you have black people who are like Republican and they see things one way, because they may benefit from those things that you've passed and those things that may have been put through, because they could be business owners too. And on the other side, those same people, business owners who are like Democrats or whatever, and they're people of color, black people, they may not benefit from that. They may have lost their business because of certain policies that were put in place, you know? But we're not a monolith, so like when you do stuff, you can't be like, oh, like the blacks love me. And that's kind of more his words. Look at my African American. Like, that sounds like some slavery shit, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Anything like that. Like, I got a name, you know, at the end of the day. But basically, yeah. You know, it's just crazy. Like, everything's just crazy. But just to keep the focus on like the whole Breonna Taylor, George Floyd thing, I feel there'll be more protests in the coming years. I feel that, you know, the quote unquote fight is not over in any way, shape, or form. There's more to do. There's more to be done. Hopefully with, you know, Biden in the White House, things will get done. You know, we'll see a way forward. For the most part, like, hopefully we'll see a way forward. But outside of that, the news I do have for you guys would be me and my co-host, So Sensitive. We're coming soon. Okay, so that's in the works. Still working out the preliminary to Wise Vibe. That first episode, I want it to be something special. And basically you'll probably learn the concept of that once we launch that. Outside of that, working on some music, trying to get up with certain producers and engineers, so we can make that happen, and stuff. And you know, I'll probably be back with some more vlogs later on. I'm gonna try to get into a regular space with this. Hopefully not, you know, political. I just wanted to follow up because that was a part one. There was supposed to be a part two. I wanted to see how everything went on with the whole Breonna Taylor situation and whatnot. And that situation, like, not to harp on it, but like, it was flawed. I mean, with the whole attorney general thing and them not telling the jurors certain facts in the case, it's crazy. It's crazy. And nobody deserves that. Nobody. You know, I seen a white guy killed, I think back in, was it 2016 or? It was a while back. But basically, he was killed in a hotel by an officer with an assault rifle. And that was one of the most disturbing things I think I ever seen in my life. And I think to this day, that officer is still roaming the streets. I don't think he's on the force. Don't think he's on the force. Hopefully not. I would hope not. If I remember in another video, I probably will put his name up there, like, just randomly. I could be talking about music, and I'll just be like, hey, I can remember when I did the other video? that was his name and who he is. I hope that man meets justice one day. I mean, I don't know if they have to bring the case back or moral justice, you know, like, you know, karmic justice, universal God justice, maybe, you know. But that's not for me to decide. That would be for, you know, the higher powers, I guess. But yeah, that was disturbing. Like, I believe from watching that video, he tricked that man into a false sense of security of like mixed signals. Like, oh, put your hands on your head, do this, do that, don't fall, don't do this, if you move again. And the guy was terrified for his life. You have an assault rifle on me and you have me on my knees telling me to crawl to you and all kinds of crap. And I think the guy like almost fell or something, or put his hand down. Something happened and he lit him up, and it was disturbing. It really was. Much love to the families of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. I'm sorry for your loss. I've experienced loss in my life. I mean, not in that way, in that level, and I hope never to. But you know, we all out here, and it feels like, you know, we're all targets, even when you have the best interactions with police. And I've had some great ones, had some not so great ones. You know, I've had my share of fit a description and you never get the description, you know, and I've had my share of, hey, you know, just want to make sure you're okay and have a good night, or, you know, did you know this was out? Get that fixed. It's always even better when you don't get a ticket. Always. But, you know, because some officers use common sense. Some aren't always trying to make a quota. They're like, hey, you probably did not know this. Boom. You know, but overall, it was just a sad situation what happened to those two people, and what happened to the countless other people before them: Amadou Diallo, Sean Bell, Eric Gardner, Sandra Bland, Philando Castile. Do we need to go on? Tamir Rice. You know, there's so much black people that have died in the ignorance of some people, white people, I mean, and other people, but mainly white people. This is not a this is not, that's the wrong word, monolithic. This is not a, like, yearly situation. Like, I love when people use analytics in these situations, like, to be like, okay, well, like, you have a pie chart or graph chart, and you're like, well, when every year comes, we get to start over. Like, oh, we killed all you blacks in 2018, but what's the quota for the blacks in 2019 and 2020? Fuck out of here. You've been killing people continuously over the years. It adds the fuck up. It adds the fuck up. If I killed a member of your family for every year you were alive, till you gained consciousness as an adult, and I kept doing it, you're not gonna be mad at me for the year I killed just your dad and your mom. If you were close with any of those family members over that time of your adult life, and let's even like revamp that. Say I killed a member of your family since you've been the age of like 20. You didn't know it was me or somebody else, but that member died each year. A member of your family that you were close to. So you had a lot of them that you were close to. And I killed each one each year. When you find me or figure out who I am, you are not going to be like, well, he only killed one family member in 2020, so let's cut him some slack. Or let's just prosecute him for that family member. You're going to want me as the entity, or being, if I represented the system, you're going to want me to pay for all the deaths that happened since you were 20 till you were 30 or 35 or whatever age you would be when I finally am found out. You know what the fuck I'm saying? Like, don't try to act like shit's sweet and it's like, oh, well, how many blacks died this year? Because it was only this much, and you got to look at the proportions, and white people kill more and go to jail. Fuck out of here, son. We only make up 13% of the population. We can't be the fucking most people in prison. There's something going on there. I'm not saying people don't commit crime. Dudes don't commit crime. Niggas ain't out here doing stuff. But at the same time, there are some biases. There are some things wrong with the system that need to be revamped and looked at. And like I said in the last video, my message out to the black people, we got to start getting in our communities and we got to start doing better. I don't have a problem with the urban element. Some of you call it the hood element. I don't have a problem with the urban element. Gangs and all that kind of stuff, yes, some of that shit needs to die out. It needs to be reformed. A lot of white organized gangs and crime, and because they still doing crime. Don't try to be like you all just charitable Charlie's Angels organizations. We seen Sons of Anarchy and stuff like that. TV, to me, TV spirits truth or shows truth. There's things going on probably out here that we don't know about. But besides that, because they have to get their stories from somewhere. It's not just dudes creating things out of thin air in their heads. A lot of things come from inspiration, but neither here nor there. Basically, you got to look at it like we have to change in our own communities as well, but the blame is not solely on the community. It is the system. Because when you look at other races and other things, there's a lot of systems that were set up to help those races thrive. And we're the only ones that haven't gotten that just due, that influx of money, resources that would help us do what we need to do. We haven't gotten it. And we're still fighting for that. When a lot of others have gotten it and built off our backs and come into our communities and built their businesses, and we have fed you as far as buying products so you can feed your family, clothe you, as in buying products from your establishments to feed your family, keep your businesses growing, and that in that infrastructure. And then that way you've sown yourself into our community and you've built yourself up big enough where you see more of the community than we are. And we are the community. And that's crazy. But, and like I said, partially that's on us. But at the same time, a lot of y'all don't look to give back. And stuff. And overall, the U.S. itself hasn't given back to black people, the descendants of slaves, for them to really make a change for themselves. And anytime the black man has tried to do that on his own, Black Panthers, you know, the luncheons and all those kind of things, Nation of Islam, Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying? And there were actual black communities in Harlem and stuff like that. What did you do? Integration. I know some black people are like, what? Integration? Like, that was one of the best. Not saying that there shouldn't be. But at the same time, when we were segregated, we had our own things. We were doing more. I heard Chris Rock talk about that one time recently on The Daily Show. It's like, yeah, we were fighting to sit at lunch counters and stuff like that when we should have been fighting just to be like, yo, we want our black schools to have the same books as, you know, the white schools. And we want maybe some white educators to come to our black schools and teach up, or even brush up some of our teachers so they could be on the same level of teaching. That's what we needed. We needed that kind of equality. The equality we were fighting for, like to go to the same movie theaters and stuff like that, that didn't advance us as much because we're still here fighting for some of the basic rights that we should have been fighting for back then, at those times. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to get ready to go because we got some work to do on So Sensitive. We got, I got some stuff to do on Wise Vibe. But basically, you know, I wish you guys a best day. Yes, I do wish you a best day. I wish you a blessed day. And also, you know, just look out for the content. You got a lot of, hopefully we're gonna have a lot of stuff coming sooner than later. Wise Vibe might be a pushback to 2021. That might actually go that route. So that might be a pushback to 2021. But outside of that, everything else should be on track. I mean, you should be getting an episode of So Sensitive coming very soon. So, like I said, me and my co-host were hard at work at that, trying to get that off the ground. And like I said, got some music coming and stuff. And probably once I really start getting up in the studio to put things out, the vlog will bring that your way and everything. Anyway, so this is what episode 5 or vlog number 5 or whatever you want to call it. Part 2, raw to you. I'm gonna try to keep it as raw as I can. Might do like a little logo thing in the corner. So if that's in the beginning of the video, of course it wasn't in the rough cut. But still, but basically, yeah. I hope you guys are having a blessed day. Those are my thoughts, my own opinions on that matter. And you guys have a great day. I might do something for the election, talk about that and stuff, but I'm so like over it with like all the nonsense and the politics. Like everything looks like a joke right now. But yeah. Anyway, this the kid LY, and this is LY the channel, vlog number 5. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Peace.
TMR.